You ever wake up with the sun punching you straight in the eyes and think, ah, another day to be fabulous? That's my every morning here in the savannah. I stretch, I yawn, my mane catches the wind just right, and boom, instant royalty. The grass bows, the insects scatter, and the hyenas stop laughing for a second. Yeah, they know who I am. I'm the king, baby. The real deal. The one and only lion of these golden plains. And before you ask, yes, I've tasted almost everyone out here. It's not bragging, it's research. A lion's gotta know his menu, right? You can't be a king and not know what your subjects taste like. So, since you're here, let me tell you about life in the savannah. The flavors, the drama, the running, and the occasional bad digestion. Let's start with zebras. Oh, zebras. Those stripy snacks with attitude. They look fancy, like nature tried to paint them for a fashion show but ran out of colors. The first bite of a zebra, though. Not bad. Sweetish, chewy, but a little gamey. The problem is, they act like they're faster than everyone else. They're not. They just panic in style. Every time I chase one, it's like a black and white thunderstorm. Dust, hooves, chaos, and then me at the end, covered in stripes and pride. But honestly, after a few bites, you realize they all taste the same. Grass-fed arrogance. Then there are antelopes, slim, shiny, and always jumping around like they're auditioning for some animal Olympics. They're tasty, I'll give them that, especially the young ones. Tender, flavorful, like the savannah's version of fast food. But catching one? Oh, that's a workout. You think being king means I don't have to run? Ha! You try chasing something that zigzags like it's got GPS interference. Half the time I stop mid-chase and think, why am I doing this? I should have just gone for the slow ones. But pride doesn't let me quit. You can't be the king and take shortcuts. Not when the lionesses are watching. Speaking of lionesses, those ladies are the real MVPs. They do most of the hunting while I handle the roaring and posing for documentaries. People think I'm lazy, but no, I'm strategic. I wait until they bring dinner, then I just inspect it for quality. That's leadership. You can't risk the king eating something that's not up to royal standards. Now, wildebeests, don't get me started. Big, muscular, dramatic, always making noise like they're auditioning for a tragedy. Every migration, they move in these massive herds like they're the stars of some grand parade. But honestly, they're the buffet that never ends. The meat? Decent. Tough, chewy, earthy flavor. Not my favorite, but fills the belly. What I don't like is how dumb they are. They'll see one of their own get taken down, and instead of running away, they'll come back and look at me like, hey, what happened to Jerry? And then boom, Jerry too is on the ground. Nature's version of a 2-for-1 deal. But if you really want to know the best flavor in the savannah, my friend, it's buffalo. Big, dangerous, built like a tank. Oh, they make you work for it. But once you get one down, pure magic. That meat's got soul. It's rich, deep, powerful. You feel it in your bones. You eat buffalo, you feel like a real king. But sometimes they fight back hard. One hit from those horns and you're seeing stars. I once went after one, full of confidence, and the next thing I remember is waking up 3 feet away from where I started with a headache and no dinner. Still worth it. But there's one thing I don't recommend. Porcupines. Yeah, I tried once. Big mistake. Never again. Those spikes? Absolute nightmare. You think you can grab it quick, but no, the moment you do, bam, mouth full of needles. I couldn't roar properly for a week. My friends still bring it up. Hey, remember when the king got defeated by a hedgehog on steroids? Not funny, okay? Not funny at all. And then there's the giraffe. Now that's a weird one. Too tall to sneak up on, too big to bring down easily. They see you coming from a mile away, and by the time you reach them, they're already halfway to another continent. But oh, the taste. If you somehow manage to get one, rare, but I've done it once, it's sweet, juicy, almost elegant. The problem is the neck, so much neck. By the time you get through it, you forget why you started. It's like eating a rope made of meat. Not my favorite sport. Hippos, though, I stay away from those. Big mouths, bad tempers, and surprisingly fast. You think they're slow because of their size, but no, those things can move. And their taste, let's just say, I'll never know. I'm brave, not stupid. Crocodiles? Same story. I like my dinner on land, not trying to bite back from the water. But birds, oh, those little nuggets of air. Guinea fowl, flamingos, even vultures if I'm desperate. Crunchy, light, barely enough to fill a paw, but a fun snack, like chips. Problem with birds is they talk too much, especially those hornbills, always gossiping. Oh, the lion's getting old. The lion missed his catch. Yeah, come say that on the ground, Featherface. I'll show you how old I am. Then we've got my least favorite neighbors, hyenas. If annoyance had a sound, it would be their laugh. Always following, always waiting for leftovers, always pretending they're the next big thing. I've chased them 100 times and they still come back. They're like bad Wi-Fi. No matter how many times you think you've disconnected, they pop right back. And taste? Disgusting. I tried once. Don't judge me. It was a rough, dry season, but it was the worst mistake of my life. Greasy, bitter, like old leather soaked in garbage. Even vultures wouldn't touch that. Never again. Then there's the cheetah, my cousin, kind of. Slim, fast, fancy spots, thinks he's special because he runs quick. I respect the hustle, but come on, he's basically a sprinter with asthma. No stamina. Always running solo, chasing his tiny meals while I take down real beasts. I saw him once eating a rabbit. A rabbit? That's not dinner, that's a snack. I told him, you run that fast for something that's small? He just licked his paw and ignored me. Typical cheetah behavior. Too proud, too quiet. But you know what? They're cool. At least they mind their business. Unlike monkeys. Oh, don't even get me started on monkeys. Loud, nosy, and the biggest drama makers in the jungle. They throw stuff at me from trees, make faces, and then run. One time, a baboon actually tried to steal food from my paws. My paws. The audacity. I roared so loud, the poor thing dropped it and fainted. But I gotta admit, they're entertaining. The savannah would be boring without their circus acts. And speaking of noisy creatures, elephants, big, mighty, majestic, and so dramatic. You bump into one by accident and suddenly it's, who dares walk near the great elephant? Calm down, Jumbo, I was just passing by. Don't get me wrong, I respect them. You have to. One kick from an elephant and you're flying straight to next week. But eating one? Nope, too much work. I like my dinner medium-sized and not capable of throwing trees. And rhinos, same story. Big tanks with horns, bad temper, zero sense of humor. Tried to chase one once just for fun. He didn't think it was funny. I still have nightmares about that chase. Even lions need therapy sometimes, all right? Gazelles, though. Now we're talking elegance and flavor. Soft, delicate, light on the tongue. They look innocent, always standing there blinking those big eyes, pretending not to see me. But they know. They always know. When I start moving, they don't even look back. They just vanish. If you blink, they're gone. They're the ghosts of the savannah. One moment you're dreaming about lunch, the next you're alone with dust in your nose. But oh, when you catch one, it's worth it. Juicy, soft, full of life, tastes like victory. Hyraxes, meerkats, warthogs, not bad. Warthogs are surprisingly good if you ignore the smell. They squeal a lot though, like really a lot. I almost feel bad, almost. But the taste, nice and fatty. The little ones crisp up perfectly. Meerkats, too small, too talkative, always popping out of the ground like gossiping neighbors. Not worth the effort. Snakes, tried one once. Crunchy, weird aftertaste. 3 out of 10. Would not recommend. There are days when I just lay under a tree, full belly, warm breeze, and I think about it all. The running, the roaring, the chasing. Life here isn't easy. Every meal comes with effort. Every drink from the waterhole comes with risk. You never know who's watching you, who's waiting to strike. But that's the beauty of it. The savannah is raw, honest, alive. Everyone plays their part. Prey, predator, scavenger, or snack. Some run, some fight, some just survive. And me? I rule. Not because I'm the biggest, but because I'm the balance. When I hunt, I feed the land. When I rest, others move. It's all connected. You humans call it nature. I call it home. Sometimes at night, when the stars light up the sky and the moon turns everything silver, I sit on my rock and watch. The zebras move like ghosts in the distance. Hyenas laugh somewhere far away. Crickets sing. And I just breathe it in. The scent of grass, dust, and life. I think of the meals I've had, the chases I've lost, and the cubs playing near my paws. Being king isn't about killing. It's about balance. But I still like my food tasty. And honestly, if I had to rank the savannah's menu, zebras are flashy, antelopes are fun, buffalo is a feast, porcupines are no road, hyenas, never. My advice to anyone trying to live like a lion, run only when you must, eat only what you catch, and never ever try to bite a bullet. Trust me. Oh, and one last thing. Everyone always says the lion is the king of the savannah. True. But what they forget is, even kings get hungry. Even kings chase, fall, and fail. The crown isn't made of gold out here. It's made of scars, dust, and determination. I didn't earn my title because I'm fearless. I earned it because I roar anyway. I run anyway. I live every sunrise like it's mine to own. So yeah, maybe the cheetah's faster, the elephant's stronger, the hyena's louder, but none of them have what I have. The heart of a lion, the hunger to keep going, the taste for adventure, and for pretty much everything that moves. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I smell zebra again. And trust me, nothing wakes you up like a good morning sprint. Time to remind this kingdom who's still king.